Hello everyone, I'm Donna Presley and I'd like to welcome you to the Donna Presley YouTube channel. Guess what, ladies and gents? It's Q&A time. You ask the questions, I'll give the answers. So let's get started on the first question, okay? Okay, this first one is from Bluebell4133. Hi Donna, I have a question. Hopefully you'll be able to reply, although my question concerns Elvis's Smith side. Is it true that Elvis had Jewish ancestry? Being Gladys's great-grandmother or just grandmother, supposedly Jewish. Do you know anything about it? Thank you. Well, actually, I have heard this myself. I don't know the genealogy on Elvis's mother's side, but I have heard that that's true, that they did have some Jewish blood in them. So certainly, and he would have been very, very proud of that. There's no doubt about it. He did wear the Star of David and other Jewish symbols, along with crosses and so forth, because he said he didn't want to get kicked out of heaven for a technicality. So he wanted to make sure he was covered. So, but yeah, I have heard that that's true, and he'd be very proud of it. There's no doubt about it. So thank you for the question. Okay, the next one is from Kathleen Castle 8631. Why do you think Priscilla was so against Lisa Marie being with Michael Jackson? Well, Kathleen, to be honest with you, I can't possibly know what Priscilla was thinking, but probably thinking about the fact that because she was so famous because of her dad and her own career, and then marrying someone that's as famous as Michael Jackson, that it would be a hardship and it would be hard for both of them, which it unfortunately turned out to be that case. But I do believe that Lisa Marie loved Michael with all of her heart. So it's a shame that it didn't work out. But from all accounts and from Lisa's book and from what Riley says, they were very happy for the time that they were together. So, but then again, I can't possibly know what Priscilla was thinking. But thank you for the question. Okay, let's see. This is from Lily 92691. Not to get all dark or to upset you in any way, Donna, but I do firmly believe that Elvis was murdered and that one of the members of the Memphis Mafia slipped something into one of the many packets of sleeping pills that he took the afternoon of August 16, 1977, in order to aid him to sleep. But it went wrong and ultimately cost your cousin his life. I have thought this since I watched a documentary here on YouTube called Elvis, The Last 24 Hours. Do you feel the same? And also, was Elvis allergic to anything? And if so, what? He was allergic to codeine. But yes, Uncle Vernon truly believed that that there was foul play involved in Elvis's death. I believe it's certainly possible. And he said that he knew that for sure, and that he would handle it. I told him, I said, we should go to the police, Uncle Vernon. And he said, no, Elvis wouldn't want me to handle it that way. He would want me to keep it in-house and take care of it. And I'm going to do it the way Elvis would have wanted me to do it. So, yes, he said he did firmly believe that. So it's certainly possible. And thank you for the question. Okay, this is from Dan27EP. I like that. Hi, Donna. Enjoy all of your videos. Well, thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that very much. It means a great deal to me that people like them. I've asked this question elsewhere and not sure if it was seen. Can you tell us if you have any memories and first-hand stories of your grandfather, Jesse, as well as any of the things your mom might have told you about Jesse and how she felt about him? I know he was not really around, so I understand if that's a private matter. Thank you. Well, Dan, to be honest, I only met my grandfather, Jesse, one time. And I really didn't care for him, to be honest with you. He had hurt my grandmother and my mom and the other siblings terribly. He was terribly much a womanizer. I can say it like that. He was a womanizer, and he drank quite a bit. And left my mom, my grandmother, with 5 kids, and it was a hard time back then. It made my mom suffer quite a bit because, to be quite honest, it brings back some really bad and hard memories for me. And I hate to think even about that my mom had to go through this, but the girls that my grandfather was seeing, their mother, and he would buy them pretty dresses and things like that. And they would get my mom in the bathroom at school and make fun of her because her clothes weren't as nice as hers and say, your daddy bought them for me. So it was very, very painful for my mom. And she lived with those scars for, well, her entire life. So unfortunately, like I said, I only met him one time. And at the time, I really didn't care for him because it hurt my family so much. So thank you for the question, and I'm sorry I got so into that, but you wanted to know. So I try to be completely open and honest with my answers. So thank you for the question. Okay, let's see. This is from Risty Lee. Donna, I have a question regarding your video. After your grandmother told you that Gladys walked the halls of Graceland, did she ever talk about her seeing Gladys? Or did Elvis ever see her and talk about it? Well, Risty Lee, he never said anything to me about it, but I do believe he did talk to my grandmother about it. I think that he certainly felt her presence there, because you could feel her presence there. And when you go to Graceland, you can certainly feel Elvis's presence there too. So I don't know that my grandmother, she never told me that she saw her, but she did tell me that she heard her walk the halls many, many times. And I certainly heard it that day myself. So I can completely bear witness to that I witnessed it myself. So thank you for that question. Okay, this is from Melissa, Tennessee, ARS. I have a question, Donna. It's been led to believe by so many that Priscilla shared Elvis's bedroom and bathroom. Can you remember or share if Priscilla had her own bedroom and bathroom upstairs at Graceland? I assume, Melissa, that you're speaking about when they were married. Priscilla did have her own bathroom upstairs, and she would have shared Elvis's bedroom. So I don't know if you're talking about before that or not, but certainly she did have her own bathroom, but she shared Elvis's bedroom when they were married. That's for sure. So thank you for the question. The next one is Natalie Kriegler, 9329. Thank you for your shows and updates. You're a charming, beautiful lady who I'm sure Elvis was and would be now very fond of and proud of as his cousin. Well, thank you. That is a very lovely compliment, and I appreciate that so much, Natalie. You're very kind. Thank you so much. You raise a very good point, and in light of the point you have raised, I ask a question. Do you think that Priscilla has been portraying Elvis himself in a negative light to his granddaughters? I hope you are invited this year to speak during Elvis Week, and wishing you all the best. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Do I think that Priscilla displays Elvis in a negative light? Oftentimes, yes, I do think that she displays a negative light upon him, and I think it's demeaning. And that's why I've spoken out, because I do think it's demeaning, and I don't think that he deserves that. He was a wonderful man, and Lisa Marie was a beautiful, wonderful woman, and oftentimes I think she's put them both in a negative light, and that's something that I just don't think should be done. That was a man that she claims to dearly love with all of her heart still today, and yet cast a negative light upon him. And, of course, there's her daughter, whom she's cast a negative light on at times. I'm not trying to tear Priscilla down or anything like that. Please understand that. I'm just being honest with my answers to your questions. So I'm just saying that, yes, definitely she has many times. And no, I do not appreciate it at all, because Elvis was a warm and loving and caring and respectful and just a generous man to a fault. And he's done so much for the world to make it a better and smaller place for all of us. And I think those are the things that he should be remembered for, because he's no longer here to stand up for himself. And since I'm about the last family member that can possibly stand up for him, I do, because I am a Presley, and I do stand for my entire family. So thank you so very much for the question. As far as being invited to Elvis Week, probably not. They've never allowed family at all at Elvis Week with Elvis Presley Enterprises. So I doubt seriously that I'll be invited anytime soon. But thank you for bringing that up, because I do have a talk show at number 2 Vance on August the 12th. It'll be at 1. There'll be one at 1 p.m. and one at 6 p.m. So for all of you out there who are going to be in Memphis during Elvis Week, I hope you'll come to see me. Like I said, it's at number 2 Vance, August 12th, and 1 and 6 p.m. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. This is Miss Alice Wonderland. I don't get it. I did not read whatever was said. I don't read anything, to be honest. Why are the Stanleys involved in anything of Elvis's today? They are Elvis's father's ex-family, long ago dismissed. I just don't get it. Well, Alice, let me say this. They were a part of Elvis's life for a number of years, and they have every right to speak about him. What I have issue with is if they do it in a demeaning way, if they do it in a disrespectful way, because Elvis was loving and caring to them. He protected them. He took care of them and tried to be a role model and guide them. And, I'm not saying Elvis was perfect, by no means. None of us are. But he certainly was a good and caring and loving man, and generous to a fault. And he gave them everything that they had, and gave them a life that they would have never been able to see, ever, if it wasn't for Elvis. And those are good things. And so that's what he should be remembered for. And it really upsets me when they say terrible things and blame their own mistakes on Elvis. And think, well, if I hadn't been with Elvis or been around Elvis, I wouldn't have done this. You make your own choices and you made your own mistakes. And so certainly not to tear anybody else down or demean anybody. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying that, he gave you a lot. He gave them a lot. And that's what they should remember him for. So thank you for the question. Okay, the next one is APHN. Donna, why did a Nevada Supreme Court judge officiate Elvis and Priscilla's wedding instead of a minister? I realize you explained why it wasn't a Catholic priest for Priscilla, but if it didn't matter to Priscilla, wouldn't Elvis have wanted to have his marriage to anyone be recognized by the church and gotten Aunt Nash or another minister to officiate the wedding? Well, that was a very, very quick and hurried affair. It was very private and secret, and they didn't want anybody to know. Elvis, it didn't really matter to Elvis, the fact that it was before a judge or a minister. Certainly, I think that had things been different and had he really been wanting to get married at this time, I think he would have definitely wanted a minister, and probably Mom, he would have wanted to do it. But it was a secret marriage, and they didn't want anybody to know or any big hoopla about it. And certainly, if anybody had known ahead of time, there would have been, paparazzi and helicopters and everything, and they didn't want that. But when they came back to Graceland after the wedding, they threw a big reception. Of course, the whole family and friends and relatives all came and celebrated. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Here's another question. Do you know if Lisa Marie was baptized? I've never heard anything about it, although I heard Jerry Schilling was her godfather, but I don't know if that is true. Well, I don't know if he's a godfather or not. That's something that I think is a really religious thing, and we all know that Priscilla was a Scientologist, or is a Scientologist, and she took Lisa into Scientology, which they definitely would not believe in baptism or anything to do with God or any normal religion. So I would say more than likely, no, she was never baptized. So thank you for your question. Okay, this is from Cassia Hilliard. Donna, I just wanted to ask a question for your next Q&A video. What is your opinion on Joe Esposito? I know he was involved in filing a lawsuit against Elvis in April 1976, but he remained friends with Elvis, and he later went on to defend Elvis in the Dee Stanley interview where she makes terrible accusations. I just wanted to know what Elvis and you thought of him. Thanks so much. You are a very beautiful lady and soul. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. It's so kind of you, and it's a very sweet thing to say, so thank you. To be honest with you, the family and the Memphis Mafia didn't commingle much. We were around each other, of course, because we were all in the house at times, and Elvis would be there. And, of course, the thing of it is you have to understand is that during that time, if Elvis was around, the Memphis Mafia were busy focusing on Elvis. They were busy focusing on what he wanted or whatever, and they were also jockeying and vying for position and favor. So there was a lot of turmoil going on inside the Memphis Mafia themselves. Not all of them were that way. There were some Memphis Mafia that I really thought a lot of, and to this day still do. I love Charlie Hodge, and the family was very close to him. He was more like family than just a friend. There was Richard Davis was very kind, and Sam Thompson was kind, and Dick Grove, and there were a couple of others, but the rest of them we weren't exactly. We were cordial to each other, but it was kind of hard to watch the way things went down with the Memphis Mafia. And when Elvis wasn't around, unfortunately, they would be very a lot of them, not all of them, but some of them would be very arrogant. And so we just kind of spoke cordially and went on to Grandma's room or wherever we were going in the house, and they stayed somewhere else. So, but a lot of times if Elvis was in the room, they didn't even know whether we came or went or whatever because they were focused on him. So I hope that answers your question. And I don't mean to make it sound like it was a bad thing or a hard thing. It was just one of those things. It does bring up painful memories at times, and some of these questions do bring up painful memories. And I try to answer them as openly and honestly as I possibly can. And as I've said, it's not that I'm trying to demean anybody. I'm just trying to give you a clear picture of what it was like and what the people were like around Elvis. We all got along, there were no quarrels or fights or anything like that, but we just didn't mingle much with most of the Memphis Mafia. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. So, hi, Donna. Not sure how you submit questions, so I will do it through DMs. The other day I stumbled on an interview with Edie Hand, Elvis's cousin, and yours. Did you spend time with her? How is she related? Both of you. She looked after Lisa and was in close contact with her till she died. God bless you and love you. I love your channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I love having you, all of you, tell me that you love the videos and the channels, because I just want to stand up for my family and let you know what they were like. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody or demean anybody, but like I said, I like to be open and honest and truthful with you all. So let me answer this question. Edie Hand is a distant relative. Her grandmother, I believe, was my grandmother's great niece. So that would make her a very distant relative. She did not stay at Graceland in the summertime. I did. Unfortunately, and Edie likes to take other people's stories sometimes and use them as her own. So I was the one that spent summers at Graceland. She never babysit Lisa, and she never drove her around Memphis. So I know that didn't happen. So that's the best I can tell you. And she's a distant relative. I don't have anything to do with her any longer. We did for a while, and we shared time together, but we decided that our thoughts and our efforts were in a different direction. So I hope that answers your question. And looks like that might be all for tonight. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more. This is from Cassia Elliott. Yeah, Cassia Elliott or Elliott. I can't remember. I'm not really sure about that. Donna, I wanted to ask you what you think about Joyce Bova. She claims very many things in her book. Don't ask forever, including that she had to get an abortion because of Elvis frequently reminding her that he wouldn't have sex with a woman who had a baby. What is your opinion on her and these claims? Love you so much, Donna. Well, thank you very much. Love you too. All of you very much, and I appreciate you so much. I don't know who this woman is. I have not read her book, nor will I. But I can tell you this, Elvis would never ask anybody to have an abortion, ever. That much I know. So I don't know what her thing is or what her deal is or what she's saying or why she's saying it. But I can tell you this much, he would never ask a woman to have an abortion. That much I do know. So thank you for the question and let me clear that up. Let's see. This is one more. Last question. Vicky, 16070. Hi, Donna. I just finished reading your mom's book, which I really liked. I gained more information and it provided such a warm and refreshing insight into Elvis personally. A couple of the things that stood out for me were, number one, Elvis's faith as a child, and two, Elvis's good relationship with your mom, at times being his confidant. Your mom, by the way, seemed like she was such a great person, so warm, friendly, and full of faith. Because I just read this book, what your mom wrote about Linda stood out. According to your mom, she said, we talked about your kind of girl he wanted, and when he decided to marry again. At that time, we had this conversation. He was with Linda, and he said, Aunt Nash, right now, Linda seems to be the type of girl I would want. She's a Southern girl. She's kind of considerate, and she doesn't use bad language. And most importantly, she has a deep love for God. Clearly, Elvis was just pointing out attributes that he was looking for in a woman and not a declaration of love or marriage for Linda. So there seems to be some ambiguity between your mom's comment and your comment wherein he said if he ever married again, it would be Linda. He did tell us that at the hospital one time. All the best. Well, yes, and he did say that he would, if he ever married again, that it would be someone like Linda. I said that it would be Linda, someone like Linda. But yes, she had the attributes that he really counted on, he really loved, and he really liked. He loved Linda. He did. But they broke up. He moved on and actually became engaged to Ginger for a short period of time. So, yeah, that's very true. They were close. But as far as my mom and Elvis, they were very, very close. My mom was 9 years old when Elvis was born, and they lived next door to each other. And they played together. They grew up together. And they used to play church together. And when he was 3 years old, my mom told me that they were sitting on the front porch of that little shotgun house. And he said, you know, Aunt Nash, someday I'm going to buy my mom and daddy a big house and lots of cars. And we all know he not only did that for his mom and daddy, but he's done it for many, many others as well. So it tells you what kind of person that Elvis was. But he and my mom maintained a wonderfully close relationship all through his life because we lived on the property at Graceland right behind the house. He would invite Mom over to his room, and they'd go upstairs to his room, and he'd wrap her in a blanket because he kept it so cold up there. And they would read the Bible and discuss it for hours and hours. He knew my mom was she was a Assembly God minister, so she was very versed in the Bible. And so they would talk about things, and he knew that she would always tell him what she really thought, not what he wanted to hear, but what he needed to hear, and the truth about everything. So they always remained close. Elvis was very close to family. He loved having all of us around. We kept him grounded, and he knew without a shadow of a doubt that because we were his family, that we loved him for Elvis, not for Elvis Presley. So that ends the questions for tonight, everyone. I hope you enjoyed being with me as much as I enjoyed being with you. And just keep those questions coming, and we'll keep answering them. And thank you again for joining me. Thank you for listening. And until next time, God bless.